I love when they make horror movies based off somewhat spooky, mysterious incidents, such as the Kola Superdeep. This one is a horror movie based off the Kola Superdeep, which is a borehole in Russia. I don't know the exact specifics of this story, but throughout the 80s and 90s, they built a super deep borehole to go the furthest down that anybody has ever drilled, to redefine drilling techniques and all that other stuff, and they did what they were able to do. But when they went deep enough, there was, I believe this sound was faked, but people spread a horror story about, the sounds of hells and stuff were coming out from way deep below, blah blah blah. But then that ended up being debunked, as far as I know. The sounds were ended up being added in from some movie or something. But, of course, the story was interesting, so naturally they made movies about it. And here's one of them. This is The Superdeep, which is about an alternate universe where the Kola Superdeep actually ended up being like the Umbrella facility from Resident Evil, a deep hive underground laboratory where they worked on viral things and all sorts of other sciencey stuff. And they ended up finding something buried deep down in the Kola Superdeep that should not have been disturbed. A sort of a fungus virus of some sort. A fungus that spreads like a virus. It's mutation abilities, and of course this is basically everything that I needed to explain here. The Thing and Alien meets Alex Garland's Annihilation. I'd add Doom as well, the 2005 Doom movie, or the Doom 3 story. I'd add that to the mix as well. You dig deep enough and you'll find this thing that, and it also kind of reminds me of Lavos from Chrono Trigger, this thing that's down there. I wouldn't say it's sentient, but it is alive, and it is very resilient to being wiped out. In the story, one of the scientists ends up explaining that this fungus had probably existed millions of years ago, and the only reason why humans are still alive today is because the Ice Age stopped it. Because this fungus hates the cold. It dies immediately in the cold. This lady plays one of the scientists who takes a sample of this fungus and takes it into the freezer, and where it immediately freezes and dies. It needs a host, a living, warm-bodied host, to survive in the cold, to get out from the Siberian permafrost barrier that keeps it confined deep in the earth. And so this team goes down there to discover what happened to the scientists down there. 20 people ended up disappearing at the deepest depths of this place. So they send a new team in there to gather samples and stuff like that. And everything goes to heck. Everybody dies except for one survivor who is infected with this fungus, who miraculously ends up surviving despite all odds. There's not too much else I could say about the Superdeep, other than it definitely basically is like, it has effects that remind me of The Thing. There are mutationary stuff. Once it takes over a human host, it can mutate it into all sorts of oblong shapes, and it can swoosh multiple people together into a big oblong shape. What you're seeing right now, is actually a military squad team that got infected. A whole squad gets infected, and they mutate together into this big oblong shape. You can see one of the bodies right there. There's a head there. There's another head down there. There's an arm sticking out there, and in a way, they are alive in some twisted form, and it is terrifying to look at sometimes. It's just terrifying in a conceptual type of way. It's not necessarily terrifying to watch, but it is a very interesting idea Though there really is nothing supernatural about the Superdeep at all. There's nothing going on down there. There's no hellish sounds. It's just a geological stuff going on. People learned a lot about what went on down there, what the rocks looked like a long time ago. And we ended up realizing that there might be diamond and gold buried 12 miles under the ground, which is obvious. It's just very difficult to get down there safely, so don't expect anybody to go digging for diamonds and gold 12 miles into the earth. Please don't do that. Anyway, you could watch this, though. Though there is one thing that I have to say. This DVD that I picked up here is locked in English, although the film was filmed in Russian. There's no Russian dub on the DVD. If you come across this movie on Shudder, it says a Shudder original. If you come across the Superdeep on Shudder, see if you can find the Russian dub version with English subtitles, because that's the best way to watch this film. When I watched this, I was stuck watching it in an English dub with poor lip syncing on a lot of characters, and it kind of weakened the experience to me a little bit. But if that doesn't bother you, then go ahead and watch this one. Otherwise, I try to find the Russian version with English subtitles. That's the best way that I like to watch movies. I like to watch movies in the languages that they were filmed in with English subtitles. If it's not English. If it was not filmed in English, that is. But yeah, that is the Superdeep. I'm not making a long review about this one.